What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Gotham Knights sold well. Now, here's the deal. It's very, very hard to actually figure that out, but I want to go over the numbers that we have and compare it to some other things and go from there because, again, game companies, for the most part, they like milestones, right? They'll announce when Gotham Knights has reached 5 million players or, whatever it may be. They'll announce it. But if it reaches, 2.85 million, they're not going to say that, right? Very few do. And we really don't have numbers, obviously, for PlayStation. For Xbox, it's incredibly hard to track those things. But what you do have is Steam. And you can look at Gotham Knights' player count on Steam. It is going down, which is obvious. Games go down as time goes on. Some games stay much more consistent than others. This game doesn't look to do that, and we'll see wherever it kind of evens out. But you can see at the time I'm recording this, there's around 4,300 people playing right now. 6,300 people have played at the 24-hour peak, and the all-time high is 24,138. And again, you can see the line graph. It goes down, it peaks, drops, so on, and it hit the high, I believe, on launch day, and it's gone down since then. So 24,000 is not, in my opinion, spectacular. It's not god-awful. In fact, my favorite game of the year right now, and I know I keep bringing it up, but there's a reason, Plague Tale Requiem. Plague Tale Requiem did not, I think it had 5,000 or 6,000 people, maybe max, as its all-time peak. Maybe less, maybe 4,000 to 5,000. So Gotham Knights had, say, 5 times the amount of people at its high than Plague Tale Requiem. And Plague Tale Requiem, they just announced, actually, yesterday or the day before, that it had sold 1 million units. So, does that mean Gotham Knights has sold 5 million? No, I really don't think it has. But it just kind of shows that although it only did 5,000 as its peak on Steam, you also have, that's not everybody that's played the game, because not everybody plays at the same time. It's also not counting consoles, right? Now, you can actually go down on Steam, and they try to do some averages. So their estimates of people that own Gotham Knights, and this, I believe, is only on PC and only on Steam, is somewhere, you can see, based off reviews, somewhere in the 150 to 400,000 range, and then they go through a couple other VG Insights, Play Tracker, etc. I mean, the average there seems to be around 200,000. I mean, you have to kind of bring some down, but so maybe it sold that on PC. I think on PlayStation, on Xbox, it did the majority of its sales. And the only data for consoles tends to be that UK physical charts, which we're going to go over. But as this month goes on, we should get the ranking of games in October for the US. So we should be able to see where Gotham Knights lined up in comparison to Plague Tale, to Mario Rabbids, to Call of Duty, to all those games. It doesn't give numbers. I think you have to pay, and I think it's industry people that tend to have the information of how much is actually sold, but the common folk, you and I, won't be able to see it, but we will see its ranking. So in terms of the UK physical charts, Gotham Knights took second place, and it took second place behind FIFA 23. It actually was ahead of Mario Rabbids, which is, Mario Rabbids was only on Nintendo Switch, but that's a pretty solid game. So, I mean, that is, I would say, a pretty big positive, and that would have to mean it would also be above Plague Tale. I think they say Plague Tale is number 5 on the list. So, Gotham Knights being number 2, they go over 78% of the total sales were on PlayStation, 22% were on Xbox. Again, this is just the UK. This is just physical copies of things. This isn't even digital. So there's no numbers. There's no numbers there. So here's the deal. I mean, that's really all we got. Those are the only 2 things out. Now, again, as the month goes, as this month goes, we'll be able to continue to track Gotham Knights on that same chart, see how much it falls with God of War and Sonic, right, being the first 2. How's that going to hurt it? We're going to see that. And then as this month goes on and we get the data for the US in October, we'll be able to see, where Gotham Knights kind of landed in the entire month. I mean, honestly, I would expect Gotham Knights to be, I guess, third. Maybe you think FIFA 23 is one of them, and Call of Duty, that would be Call of Duty is definitely going to be number 1, right? Probably for the rest of the year. And then you also have FIFA If Gotham Knights is anywhere below 3, and again, I'm talking about the US, and we won't know this for a little while. If they're anywhere below 3, I would consider that very much not good. Not good at all. I don't expect them to, because you're not going to beat FIFA, and you're not going to beat Call of Duty, so I don't expect it to be 1 and 2, but it should be number 3. If something like Mario Rabbids outsells it, that's not great, considering, yeah, Mario Rabbids, Mario, Nintendo Switch, all of that stuff, Ubisoft, Nintendo collaboration, but Gotham Knights, DC, big game from them that hasn't happened in many, many years, multi-platform, whereas, you know, Mario Rabbids isn't, and so that can look pretty bad. So as to the question, is it selling well? Well, you know, the answer is we don't necessarily know. We don't have a number. Here's the thing. You know, again, like Plague Tale announces when it gets to 1 million. Do I think Gotham Knights has sold 1 million? God, I hope so. I can't imagine Gotham Knights did not sell 1 million units as of right now. So the question is, and I wonder this all the time, and maybe this means more to me and I make a bigger deal out of it than other people, and that's totally fine, but I wonder, when is the mark for any company? When is like the milestone where they announce it, right? When is it? Like God of War leading into Ragnarok, and it's because it was leading into Ragnarok, right? It's this month. Sony announces, hey, God of War 2018 has, 23 million people. 23 is not 20, and it's not 25. It's not a great number, so why would you say it? Well, it's the newest updated, data. So what is Gotham Knights'? Why didn't they announce 1 million? Well, 1 million probably doesn't mean much to them. 1 million to Plague Tale is quite good. And I think Plague Tale will do more, and all of that, I'm sure, is quite good. For Gotham Knights, I've talked about it before. I actually thought this game would do like 5 to 7 million. I think that's kind of where this game was going to land. I've been saying that for quite a while, and I hope I'm right, because I think 5 to 7 million is a really, really solid game. Where is it? Is it at 2 million? Well, why wouldn't you announce 2 million? Well, would you wait for 5, right? Oftentimes, Sony kind of does, well, in the first 3 days, this game sold X amount of units, and then they'll kind of update every so often. They'll say, oh, it sold 5 million. Oh, it got to 10. But they've been quiet, like Horizon Forbidden West. Sony, I believe, hasn't said anything about that game in terms of sales. Did it hit 5 million? Was that not good enough for them, and so they didn't even announce it reached 5 million? Did it not even sell 5 million, right? These are questions I ask myself. Again, I don't know how important they are to other people, but it's interesting with Gotham Knights because for that reason. I mean, maybe it sold 2 million units. But I mean, here we are. We're sitting here on November 3rd. It's roughly 2 weeks since the game came out. Plague Tale came out just a few days before it, and Plague Tale reached 1. So, to expect that Gotham Knights has done at least 1, if not, say, 2.5 by right now, I think that's probably where the game is at. Where they announce it, or when do they announce, oh, it's reached 3 million players. Is that the number? Or is it 4? Or is it 5? But I have a feeling, even if you just go based off of, PC, if you assume 300,000 people have gotten it on PC, yeah, I mean, you have to expect quite a few PlayStation, Xbox players, and having it only on next gen, you're limited. There's around 25-ish million PS5s that have been sold, right? So you only have 25 million you're working with. And Xbox, they've always kind of kept the number kind of quiet. But if you assume like 10 to 15 million, I mean, you're only dealing with that amount. And you could be saying, well, that's a lot of people. Games have incredibly low percentages of console to a game. Think about PlayStation 4. Think about an exclusive. If it sells 10 million units, but there's 100 million PS4s, that's only 10%. So 10% of 25 million is only 2.5 million. That's if 10% of every PS5 owner bought the game. So it's tough. It's a tough thing. But I do think the game has sold, hopefully, at least 1, if not like 1.5 or 2 million. And we're kind of just waiting to see, when they say it out loud. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll keep you guys updated on any sales that I see. And if you guys liked this kind of video, I love to do this stuff. I like numbers. So we can definitely do more of it as the time goes on. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all on the next one.